Good afternoon, I guess good evening, everyone. It feels like evening sooner and sooner as we get, the days get shorter and shorter. But yes, as Larry mentioned, we're going to talk about the new Phillips Respironics travel CPAP. Well, it's a couple years old now. I'm used to calling it new. But before we get kicked off, starting talking about this, actually, I'm going to share my video. Let me switch over to that really quickly. Sorry. Screen sharing, but I want to share video. Let me just, maybe if I stop this share, can everybody see me this way?
Yes.
Okay, so let me make sure that, okay, perfect. So I just wanted to, before we talk about that item, I want to give you the history of the DreamStation in about 2 seconds here. And I'm trying to get this off of my screen. There we go. This is a home unit right here. This is the DreamStation home unit. It's the quietest CPAP in the world. And that's something that I always like to demonstrate in a forum like this. So when I turn on the device, some of you tuning in might have one of these DreamStation devices at your home. It's a very nice, sleek looking unit. I kind of call it the Steve Jobs or the Apple Store CPAP machine. It's about 30% smaller than our older ones. But if you can hear the air blowing here, when I simulate putting a mask on, meaning I'm sealing the flow, it quiets down to almost nothing. I can hear the ceiling fan above me more than I can hear this, which is right by my ear. So I always like to demonstrate that and show the size of the device before we talk about the travel device. So this, in comparison, is the travel device. So it's much smaller, fits in the palm of my hand. We're going to go over the hardware and a tour of all the buttons and features on it. But first, let me take you through my PowerPoint slides here, and we'll get an overview of the device itself. So are my slides back up now, Lauren?
Yes, yes, they are.
Okay, great, thank you. So the DreamStation Go, innovated 2 years ago, and it is unique in the field in that, and you're going to hear me say this over and over again, it's probably going to be the thing that's going to annoy you about my presentation, is that I'm going to say this over and over again. Everything that the home unit can do, every feature, is true for the travel device. You're not compromising anything. For the first year of the launch, the one thing that you would have to compromise was that it didn't have a humidifier. But we have a humidifier now, and I'll be showing that to you as the presentation goes along. So I'm just advancing hold on, I'm trying to advance my slides here. There we go. So the DreamStation Go is a compact and highly portable PAP system designed for patients who refuse to compromise. We're really talking about people who travel a lot. They're really the target audience for this product. At half the size of our old platform and our new DreamStation platform, the old platform was called System 1. The DreamStation Go does all of the same therapy and comfort features as the home unit does. It's ideal for if you have a second home, or if you're traveling a lot like myself and my partner Mark, who's on the call as well. We have to travel to visit our clients and customers, and it's really ideal for a CPAP user like myself. When I'm traveling during the week and then I'm home on the weekends, I have my home unit on the weekends and I have my travel unit during the week. So let's take a little tour around the device itself. Hopefully you can see my cursor as I move it around with my pointer. It has an internal power supply. What are we talking about like that? What we're talking about is that brick. If you have a home CPAP unit or a lot of things that you have plugged in your home, like an Xbox or a PlayStation, they have that big power brick on the cord. We've integrated that into the design. So there's not a big bulky cord. It's just a light, smooth, it's 6 feet long, but it's a very light power cord. It has a touch screen, which is actually an advancement over the home unit. The home unit, we have a scroll dial, but with this, you can actually touch screen just like your smart device. There is a USB port on the side. That's not for downloading information out of there. You can download your compliance information, but the USB port is simply just a power port. So if you're traveling and you're in maybe a small hotel room that's got one plug and you've got your laptop plugged into it or your cell phone plugged into it because you need them for the next day, you can plug in your CPAP and not lose a power source for one of the other devices. So you can just plug in a USB port, and you can power your cell phone right through the CPAP device. It has a custom micro tubing. It's 12 millimeters in diameter. It's 6 feet long now. And in the business, and I speak for my competitors as well, we all make 6-foot tubing for home CPAPs. We have an option for a 10-foot tubing as well, but 6 foot is really the standard. It's kind of the least amount of length that you need in order to kind of roll around in bed and not be pulling the device along with you. But it's a 6 foot long tube, but it's only 22 millimeters in length, and it's made from a very thin and light material. So it's very lightweight. All of these things we're thinking about because we're thinking about how much it's going to weigh in your suitcase and how hard is it going to be to move around. Lastly, on this screen is it has Bluetooth connectivity. And what that means is that your smart device, if you download our app, which this is a picture of the Dream Mapper app that I'll cover at the end here, you can connect your device to your smart phone or to your tablet, and it's going to upload the data from your sleep for every night that you open up the app. So it gives you 3 pieces of information. It's going to tell you hours of use, AHI, which is your apnea-hypopnea index. And for those of you listening who have sleep apnea, you're probably pretty familiar with that term. That's how many times in an hour your airway is being compromised. And then the third thing it shows you is your mask fit in the form of a percentage. So 99% is only a 1% leak, so that's a good number. So it's going to show you that on a nightly basis, and you can look through that information, and it wirelessly communicates it from the CPAP machine right to your smart device. Oops, that went all the way to the end. Let me start over. Push the wrong button. So this is what you get when you purchase a DreamStation Go. As you can see, you do have the 6-foot power cord here on the left. Very light, easy, no brick. The brick is imported into the design of the PAP itself. That is a touch screen there. And you get a 6-foot long, but only 22 millimeter in diameter tube. And as you can see, for comparison, it's about the size of a deck of cards. So it's very, somebody challenged me on this word, packable. I don't know if that's a word or not, but I'm going to use it. It's a very packable CPAP device. Anybody who has a home unit, we always provide a carry case, a travel case with our home units, but it's significantly larger than what you're going to need to carry around what you see here on the screen. As you can see, it's really intended for people who travel a lot. It's also really for your compliant user. What do we mean by compliant? Well, somebody who's using it, someone who's keeping up on their therapy. Like, for example, I'm not very compliant with my gym membership, meaning I'm paying for it, but I don't go in there because, COVID, and I'm lazy. But so I would have a low compliance rate at my gym, but I use my CPAP machine every night, so I'm highly compliant with that. As you can see, there's a few items on here. There are some accessories that we'll touch on in the end. There are some other components you can purchase to use with this device. But as you heard Lori mention at the very beginning when we were chatting before the presentation, this is not a device that is covered by insurance. In the business, we have what's called a HCPCS code, HCPC, healthcare product code. There is no code for reimbursement from your insurance for this device. So this would be a supplementary device is how we would recommend this. It is 65% smaller, and you see in the fine print, it's 65% smaller than what? Well, then our competitors' home PAP. It's not smaller than our competitors' travel PAP, but so it's about 1/3 the size of a home unit. It's about half the weight of a home unit at 48% lighter, and it has only about 1/3 or 2/3 of the components that our competitors' travel devices have. Powerful, portable, and performance is what we always preach about this device. At about half the size of our home unit, it's going to provide, I told you I was going to repeat this over and over, it's going to provide all the same therapy and all the same comfort features, and of course, the Dream Mapper cross-device connectivity. One other thing to mention about Dream Mapper, you are able now on Dream Mapper to, obviously you can Bluetooth it to your home device, you can Bluetooth it to your travel device, but it accommodates multiple devices. So if you're sleeping Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday on one device, and you're sleeping the rest of the week on your other device, it all shows up in your on your phone, in your data, as one stream of therapy data. So you don't have to go back and forth, well, what did my travel device compliance look like, and what did my home device compliance look like? It brings it all together and puts it in chronological order, regardless of what device you're using. So we definitely work a lot in this industry, and Lori will tell you this, a lot of her customers are pilots and truck drivers. And certainly all the trucking companies, especially over the last 2 decades, there have been so many fatalities that have been documented by these professional drivers falling asleep at the wheel. So just about every trucking company now requires their drivers to get sleep tested and to have a CPAP device. This is a perfect item for those type of travelers. They're not just business travelers. Their travel is their business. Flight attendants, pilots, drivers, a lot of people in the military as well too. I work with 3 bases in my territory: Yuma, Luke Air Force Base in Tucson. Actually, I take it back 4. I also go down to Fort Huachuca in Sierra Vista, and I work with all of those bases, and a lot of people who are deploying will invest in one of these travel CPAPs when they get sent overseas. So device navigation and connectivity. Like I said, it has a touch screen. You swipe from left to right, and you tap to change the settings. And then these are the menus, and I'm not going to force you to squint and look at all of these, but what I want to point out is, again, all of the features in the home unit are here. You can set your ramp time, and for those of you who are maybe new users or not familiar, the ramp is, you can set it at a low pressure as you fall asleep, and it'll rise to your therapeutic pressure while you're already asleep, so you don't feel any of that CPAP pressure. Flex is the one below it. I always like to talk about that when I talk about our CPAP devices, because Flex is an expiratory relief feature. So if you are in a higher pressure, the higher the pressure goes, the harder it will be to exhale against it. So our algorithm can detect in microseconds when you're done with your inhalation and you're going to go to your exhalation, and it's going to drop the pressure. So that is a feature that's available in this, as well as the Bluetooth connectivity that I mentioned before, and it's in multiple languages. Well, if you count 2 as multiple, it only does English and Spanish. So I don't know why on our menu we put a German and Italian flag on there, but it only does English and Spanish in North America. You can also gather a good amount of your compliance information. It will show you your mask week, hours of use, and AHI on the screen of the PAP device itself when you navigate to that screen. You can also get things like how many hours has the device been used. It's kind of like the odometer on your car. You can know how much you've used the device over its life. A couple other little features on here as well. They're on the home unit and they're on the travel unit. One is called Check Mask Fit, and what that is you can put it on, you put your mask on, turn on the device, and it puts you through a 40-second trial period of pressure while you fit your mask and make sure that it's sealed properly. It has a green bar that goes up when you have little to no leak, and it goes down into the red if you have leak. So that's a real-time thing that you can look at on your device and on the travel device to see how well your mask is fitting. There's also what we call a performance check that is on the travel device and the home device, that will, if you feel like something is broken or something's behaving differently about your device, you can put it through basically running an internal diagnostic on itself, and it's going to check, the flow sensor, the flow meter. It's going to check the pressure, the humidification, all of that, and it's going to let you know if there's anything wrong internally with the electronics of the device or any of the mechanical parts of the device. So that's all. Those are some nice features that really nobody else has, and we have them not only in our home unit but in our travel unit. So again, you compromise nothing by going from the home unit to the travel unit. These are some of the other accessories. Now, this is all of these are cash pay. Let's just reiterate that. And when you do buy a device, I'm skipping back some slides here. This is everything that comes with the device. So this is a plug-in device. But I'm going to show you that we do have some other options that you can purchase, one of which is the overnight battery. You can run this independent of using your power cord to plug it in. Now, it's a separate purchase, and all of these are available at Valley Sleep. But this battery, depending on what pressure you're using and depending on the elevation, you can get up to 20 hours of use out of this battery off of one charge, and it takes 3 to 4 hours to charge it up. But the average runtime, if you look at the majority of the percentage of where people's therapy pressures are at, the average runtime is 13 hours. There are small and medium-sized travel kits. You would need a medium-sized travel kit if you have the battery, because it does attach to the PAP device itself, increases it by the weight by 1.5 pounds, but it also increases the actual footprint of the unit by about 60%. So you need a larger travel kit for that one. When you buy either of these two travel kits, the bag you see on the right, that will come with one of the travel kits if you purchase one of those. And so what that little bag is for is you put your mask, your power cord, and your tube in there, and it all goes into one soft bag, and then you have your more harder case for the PAP device itself. And together, once I switch back over to video, I'll show you how small all that is and how packable that is. That's my word, my patented word again. How packable it is, and I'll show you that compared to if you're trying to travel with your home unit. There's also filters that need to be changed regularly. You have a choice of the standard, what we call a pollen filter, which is usable, reusable, washable and reusable. And then you have the disposable filter, which we call an ultrafine filter. It's kind of like a hypoallergenic filter if you're sensitive to things in the air, and that one has to be swapped out every 30 days. But back to the battery here. As you can see, it's going to increase the footprint and it's going to increase the weight by 1.5 pounds. You charge the battery with the power cord for your device, as you see right there. You don't have to leave it plugged in, obviously, that would defeat the purpose of the battery. But yes, you can take this camping, you can take this, if you're RVing or perhaps maybe you're on a boat or like on a houseboat or something like that. If you're anywhere where power is scarce, this is a great option for you. Now, these are it's a chart. I'm not going to bore you with all of it, but I just want to draw your attention to the kind of battery life you can get. Here in Arizona, well, in the Phoenix area, we're closer to sea level. We're not at sea level, but these sea level numbers would probably be more accurate to where we are here. Oh, I went back too far. Let me go back. There we go. If you look here, the percentile of people who are going to be under 13 centimeters of pressure is almost 90%. So as you get up to the four highest settings, 17, 18, 19, 20, that's less than 1% of CPAP users. So really, we're reaching, if you look at the sea level hours, you can get 8 hours out of one charge if you're on a pressure of 15 or below. And of course, if you go way down in pressure, you can get up to 20. So you can get a lot of battery life out of this. I think if you're in one of the 1% who is 17 or higher, the battery might not be for you because you're only going to get 5 to 6 hours out of it there. But that's it for the battery pack. But it's definitely an attractive feature. I'll also show you in a moment here, we have a different battery pack for the home device. So if you want to travel with your home device, you can also take that off the grid as well. Dream Mapper, as I touched on before, there's a lot of ways to get your therapy data out of the device. one of which is, of course, DreamMapper. DreamMapper does have a generate report option on the app that you can have generated and you can send to your doctor. So if you take your phone in to your doctor and he wants to see your compliance, you can just get it to him from your app and have it emailed to him. That's one way to get compliance out of the device. Our home devices have modems, and those are wireless, and they call in every day. Now, the travel device does not have a modem, but it does have an opening, as you can see on the frame on the right side. There is a small opening here for a micro USB card. I'm sorry, yeah, USB card. Sorry, no, SD card. I'm confusing USB with SD. Micro SD card, which a lot of cameras are moving over to now. These are available at Best Buy. They're available at Target, Staples. They're not the cheapest, though. They're not as economical as standard SD cards, but they are about 1/3 the size of a standard SD card. And so that is something you would have to invest in if your doctor's going to want to see more detailed compliance data. As you'll see next to where the micro SD port is, there is a, sorry, I keep pushing that wrong button. That you can see underneath the little beauty plate that's removed right there. That's where the USB port is, where you can again plug in your phone and charge your phone while you're sleeping and getting your CPAP therapy. This is gonna one of the nice features about DreamMapper. It's providing you with 3 points of data for your information about your therapy, but there's a lot more that the machine will record. And your doctor might want to look at things like periodic breathing, waveform data, all those types of things that we don't show you in the app because it's above most lay people like myself's heads. But the medical doctors can understand this and read this. And so what they do is when you connect via Bluetooth, in the background, if you provided the folks at Valley Sleep Center your email address, they enter it in on their clinical portal, which is web-based as well. And then they can see your data, all of the efficacy data. So you're not just helping yourself with information about your therapy, you're getting that information to the clinical portal, to your care team as well, to your sleep lab, to your DME, to your pulmonologist, to your family practice, to your cardiologist, whoever you're working with on your CPAP therapy. So micro SD card and Bluetooth connectivity is how you're going to get your data out of this device. Also, if you navigate through, and this was on some of the menus that I showed you before, as you swipe through, there's an information bar that will also show you those 3 points of data for your information as well. But convenience without compromise, that's our slogan with this device. You might notice that I haven't spoken at all about humidification at this point. Well, the PowerPoint presentation I'm showing you right now was created before we had innovated a actual water reservoir humidifier for this device. So really quickly, I'm just going to switch over what I'm sharing and switch to a different presentation here. And my screen sharing has stopped, it says. So let me just connect to a different one here. And I'm going to show you a little bit of information about the humidifier. Sorry, I have to pull that up. And here it is. Okay, so I will share my screen again here. Okay, so share screen again. Okay, so can you see it there, Lori?
Yeah.
Okay, so that is a picture of our Road Warrior Traveler traveling with not just a CPAP device, but with an actual humidifier. Like I said, for the first year that we had this device, we did not have a solution for humidification. It was just, you know, if you're traveling for a couple of days, you're just going to have to do without humidification. Well, we all live in Arizona. We live in a desert. We know that that's not the easiest thing to do with CPAP, to go without humidification. So we did innovate an actual humidifier. This is what it looks like. I apologize, I don't have one to hold up for you right now, but these pictures are a lot better than the camera on my laptop anyway. But yes, it's going to, again, about double the footprint size of the device. It's not adding nearly as much weight as the battery does. Now, usually the first question I get is, can you use the battery and the humidifier? And the answer to that is no. The battery does not push enough energy to power both devices. So it's either use the humidifier or use the battery, but you can't use them both together. But this is what it would look like if you purchased a unit with a humidifier. This is everything that would come in the box. Again, you have the power cord, no brick. You have the 22 millimeter ultralight tubing. There's a little elbow on there. That elbow, you insert into the hole you see right there on the top of the humidifier, and that's going to provide a 360-degree swivel this way and a 360-degree swivel that way. With all of these devices, you can use any tubing, and that's something I haven't really touched on yet. Some of my competitors, you have to use a special tube. You can use any tubing with our device. We just encourage the 22 millimeter one because you're traveling with it and it's lighter. But you can also use any mask. And that's really important because I know a lot of other travel devices, they'll only be compatible with, say, 3 or 4 of the same manufacturer's masks. You can use my competitors' masks. You can use any of my masks. You can use any CPAP mask with the DreamStation Go. And then this is a side view, a profile view of the actual water chamber and the reservoir. It flips up like the hood of a car, and you can take you can pull out the water chamber, fill it up in the sink, bring it back over to your nightstand and insert it, and you're ready to go. Now, there's a feature on here that will regulate the use of your water. What does that mean? Well, if you know you're going to be up in, say, 7 hours, you can fill up your water reservoir. There's a screen where you can enter in 7 hours or 6 hours, however long you're going to be asleep, and it will govern the usage of that water so that it will run out right at 7 hours. It's a great feature, and it's one that I spent so much time saying that this does everything that the home unit does, but actually does more, because the home unit doesn't even have that feature yet. I'm sure our next platform will have that. But that is something, especially here in Arizona, I do get a call every couple months from one of my customers saying, hey, I have a patient, and they're saying that they wake up every morning and the water's all gone. It had been used up throughout the night. Well, this can eliminate that issue. You also get a good shot of where that USB port is on the side here as well. But that is the humidifier. At this point, I've rambled on for a long amount of time here. So, Lori, do you want to open it up for questions? Or I can just show my slides on the Dream Mapper as well, if you want to see those.
All right. Well, thank you. If you want to stop sharing your screen, you can. Or if somebody has a question, but I'm going to draw a winner of the battery for the DreamStation Go. You need to have a prescription on file with us. So if you don't have one, you want to get one, or come see us and we'll give you one. All right. The winner is, oops, I only have to draw one. Lisa A. We will email you. What's that?
I said congratulations, please.
Yes, congratulations. So we'll send you an email, Lisa, on how you can get that. If you would like to purchase DreamStation Go, I put the link in the chat. And you can also email me after this and I can take care of it for you. And we could have someone call you as well. Any questions? I'm just looking here to see.
And as we're looking for questions, I will mention to the group what I mentioned to Lori a little bit ago, which is if you buy one from Lori, she can provide you with a DreamStation, that is. She can provide you with a link that is valid to January 31st of 2021 that will be a $100 rebate off of the purchase of a DreamStation Go. So that is something you would get from your seller here, Valley Sleep.
And will you talk about the home unit battery? There's a battery for a home unit as well?
Yes. So I'm going to hold that up right now. And as you can see, the home unit is here. We've got a cord that connects to a lithium-ion battery. And this has very similar battery life and performance as the chart I showed you for the DreamStation Go battery, which I have right here. This is not obviously not connected right now to the device, but they're both lithium-ion batteries. We innovated both of them at the same time, but this one can actually power a home ventilator, which is not what we're talking about today, but we do manufacture ventilators, something that we've all become familiar with since COVID started. And it just connects via this cord, and it can run your home CPAP. In fact, I have it plugged in and powered up right now with this battery. So this is also a cash pay product. It's not reimbursable. Insurance companies do not pay for the battery, but it is something that you can order through Valley Sleep. If you want to take your travel PAP and travel with that, your home PAP and travel with that.
So someone asked if that battery would work on your competitor's device.
No, it will not, because the ports, here I'll show you, the ports where it powers up, this guy is not universal to our competitors. So it will not work with our competitors. I apologize.
Can you use the battery on a long flight, like to Sydney or New Zealand? It'll last?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, as long as you know, that chart that I showed you, say if you're a pressure of 13, you're going to get at least 15 hours of use out of it. So yeah, you could. It's funny that Lori mentions Australia. If you're traveling, I know how much she travels to Australia. But yeah, I'm also seeing that a lot more of the transcontinental or whatever the term is, the long flights. A lot of them have actual plugs now, where you can plug in devices. You can charge your phone, and you could plug in just a standard unit without having a battery, or you could buy the battery and you could just be. I've had to sleep in an airport terminal before, and I wasn't able to find a power port. So if I'd had one of these with a battery, I could have used my CPAP and slept in the airport when I.
And all of us sitting around you are so thankful that you have that battery CPAP pack on.
Yeah, it cuts down on snoring for sure.
How long does the battery take to charge?
3 to 4 hours.
Nice.
For a complete charge.
Okay. What other questions do you guys have? These are great, by the way. And in case you weren't here, you can use your HSA. So if you have money on your account and it's end of the year, you can use that to pay for it. So just remember that. My son has one and he forgets he has it. He goes to pay for contacts and all these other. I'm like, Colton, use your HSA. That's what it's for. Oh, I forget I have it. People forget they have it.
People do.
Yeah. And then the rebate, that's really awesome. So
$100 rebate, valid until January 31st.
All right. Well, thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Maybe we'll give away a battery to the home unit in January. Wouldn't that be fun?
Sounds great.
All right.
I'd love to talk about any of our products.
All right. Well, congratulations, Lisa. Thank you, everyone, for always attending. I see several names out there that you guys are always on, and I really appreciate it. Oh, here's one more question. Is the rebate off the $850 or the $999?
Well, it's an up to $100 rebate. And they say up to, because if you're paying, I believe how it works, and the way it would work is you would get the link from Lori, you would go to the website and you download the rebate form. It's going to ask you questions about how, if there was any form of insurance compensation when you bought it, and that would reduce your rebate. But if you just paid for it out of pocket, it's $100 rebate.
All right, fantastic. And I will send out a video tomorrow of this presentation to all of you, and the link for the DreamStation Go, it's in the chat, but I'll send it to you on your email as well. All right. Thank you.
Thank you for letting me present, Lori. We really appreciate it.
Oh, you're so welcome.
Access to your audience here. Thank you so much.
Wishing everybody just a joyous holiday. And man, I wish I was going on a flight to Sydney.
A joyous and safe one for everyone.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.